Okay, let's try this again. Get out of the way. The Scarab God. The Scarab God, 5 mana for a 5/5 versus Omnath, an 8 mana commander. Is that 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana for a 5/5? Do we want to keep this hand? We'll keep it because we can hopefully get into Coalition Relic. Yeah, the Scarab God, 5 mana for a 5/5. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses X life and you scry X, where X is the zombies you control. 4 mana, exile a creature from a graveyard, and you get a copy of it that is a 4/4 black zombie. And Training Grounds on turn 1 is available to us, but we have to go for Sunken Hollow. We might be able to... Yeah, we might go for Training Grounds on turn 2. Not sure how eager we are for a Lightning Greaves. Depends if we want to Stinkweed Imp or not. Anyway, Omnath is Gruul, 5/5, landfall. Create a 5/5 red-green elemental creature token. And when it or an elemental you control dies, you Lightning Bolt. So we'll get rid of that, seeing as how we keep obstructing our hand with it. What do we want to do then? I think we can just go for Training Grounds. We'll have time to get down Lightning Greaves, I imagine. Probably on turn 4, before we get down... Oh no, actually, on turn 4 we'll be able to get down the Scarab God, won't we? Well, not to worry. If our opponent has burn, then they have it. We'll get down our own means of ramp, which of course isn't as good as anything that green can produce. And we'll just put the charge counter on now, because I am too lazy to hold up priority on my opponent's turn. Yeah, the Scarab God is something that I am having difficulty recording with. People just seem to be scooping really early. I imagine if our opponent absolutely stomps us, something tells me that they won't suddenly have to go AFK on us. You never notice that when you play Magic Online? I don't know how many people that watch these videos actually play Magic Online, but any of you that do, have you ever noticed that whenever people need to leave, all of a sudden it's whenever they're losing? I don't think I've ever had someone have to leave when they're winning a game. I don't know if that's ever happened to me. We'll go for... What do we want to go for? I think we can actually... I'm just looking at that Windfall. Can we get the Lightning Greaves out and Windfall? It looks like we can. So why don't we just do that? We'll fill up our graveyard. We get to keep a counter on Coalition Relic, and then we can go in for the Scarab God next turn. So we'll go for the Underground Sea. And this does draw our opponent some cards, but hopefully the cards they draw are worse than the ones they have in hand, because the cards they have in hand were in their opening hand, and yep, Harmonise, Oracle of Muldiah, Rexage, and Solemn Simulacrum are certainly good things to get into. We'll mill some more, or dredge some more, I should say, and yeah, get into some more stuff. Unfortunately, don't get into any more creatures off of that dredge. Actually, wouldn't have minded drawing into a Sol Ring and some lands, but it does clear a lot of mana off the top, actually, so that wasn't the worst dredge. And Yavimaya Elder is a pretty good card. 2/1 for 3 mana. When it dies, you search your library for 2 basics, you put them into your hand, and then you can pay 2 and sack it to draw a card, so you actually get 3 cards when that thing dies, if you pay 2 for it, that is. Looks like our opponent is going to be getting down their Omnath pretty damn quickly. What do they have? 4, 5, 6, 7. And then Wayward Swordtooth will allow them to play an additional land on each of their turns. Oh, and they get Azusa as well. So it looks like we got them into some good stuff with that Windfall. I think we just have to go for... Yeah, they've just got a faster start off than we have. So let's see if they scoop early. Okay, finally gets back round to our turn after our opponent was dirtling around for a little bit. We'll go for... yeah, we might as well just get down the island here. The Cabal Coffers isn't going to do too much for us. And we'll get into our Scarab God. And then we can decide during our opponent's turn if we want to brainstorm or not. Failing that, we can Coalition Relic. And we're not going to swing him because our opponent can block and attack with the Wayward Swordtooth now. And kick it back over to our opponent. We don't have too much going on in the graveyard. We can go for a Phyrexian Ingester on our opponent's commander. They can get back their commander a couple of times thanks to the command beacon, of which they have 2. And they can actually afford to cast their commander a few more times yet anyway. And they sack their Wayward Swordtooth to Life's Legacy. This is at least a means of showing how good an Omnath Locust of Rage can be. And not to windfall an Omnath Locust of Rage. I can't help but think that we have a little bit of something to do with all this. Okay, and our opponent does get the landfall trigger with their commander, which gives them a free 5/5 creature. Okay, so our opponent basically got down 3 lands. They got down Lotus Cobra and a Sol Ring, and in doing all that got a bunch of elementals. We have both Urborg and Cabal Coffers available to us, but I think it is too little too late. Doesn't matter what we throw back on top, I don't think. Yeah, we deal X damage to our opponent for all the zombies we control, which is of course big fat 0. So in that case, why don't we see if we can grab something with Muldrifter. We'll just do it for 3 mana. And then we can reanimate something with the Scarab God if we want to. Just hoping for some kind of board wipe here. Nope, it's just another stack of lands on top. Okay. In that case, it might be time for a Sidisi. But I don't think even a board wipe is going to get us here. Yeah, now that I think about it, we should have just Sidisi'd into Toxic Deluge because we're going to take a hell of a hit next turn. Yeah. Can you tell I'm fatigued from trying to get games with this deck? Also, that's something I do as well, and that's something I have to watch myself with. When my opponent is taking quite a while with their turns, I just kind of switch off and my eyes start wandering around the room and I start daydreaming. I don't say anything because I know that if there is a flat line in the audio while I'm editing, I know to fast forward a big chunk of the gameplay, which hopefully you've noticed watching the videos. Yeah, we're just going to take the hit here. Yeah, had I have actually thought about that, what I should have gone for was Sir DC Undead Vizier with the Scarab God, and that could have sacrificed itself and we could have grabbed a Toxic Deluge. And I think we were just going to be postponing the inevitable because Omnath has just gotten into a boatload of ramp and mana, as you would expect it to. And they are just dirtling around, aren't they? They don't have the win on board this turn, but I don't think they need... I mean, what are we going to get? Can we... Well, we might as well use the ability while we can. Use it a couple of times. So we'll go in for... Is there anything our opponent has that we like? No, not really. All the creatures having haste doesn't do anything so far. So why don't we go for the Invoker? And we will exile our opponent's commander. And that will... Phyrexian Ingester for... What is going on here? Search your library. Okay, so they're doing that in response to the Ingester. When this thing comes in, we exile a target non-creature, non-token permanent. No, we don't. Why don't I try speaking in English? When it enters the battlefield, you may exile a target non-token creature. And it gets +X +Y. X is the creature's power, and Y is its toughness. So this thing gets +5 +5. I don't know. When it goes to the command zone, I don't know if it counts. No, clearly it doesn't, so we've learned something there. The commander wasn't exiled, so it doesn't get the buff. And then why don't we grab something else? We'll just go for DC, Undead Vizier. And we'll get rid of that Phyrexian Ingester so that we can have a Death Toucher on the field. And we'll say yes, and I don't know which board wipes we have. I know we have Toxic Deluge. Massacre Worm doesn't do anything for us. I think we just have to... Yeah, I think we just have to straight up board wipe. Do we have Damnation? We do. I think we can go for a Damnation. Not sure how much life we're going to have come the end of the turn. And we will, of course, just block with everything. It's another chance, actually. I wanted to play test with these Amonkhet gods. I play the Locust God on the channel as well. And last time, or last couple of times I played this, I've changed zones and made it go to the graveyard instead of it just hitting us. Yeah, I've made it go to the graveyard instead of it going to the command zone. And it hasn't come back into our hand at the end step, so I'm just trying to work out. I think we're actually just dead, aren't we? Yeah, I think we are. Yeah, okay, so apologies for the poor play and the poor commentary and me just... I don't know if I sound particularly drained or salty or irritable or anything like that, but it's just been one of those recording sessions where you either get stomped like this or your opponents just quit before the game even gets started. But not to worry, I will persevere and I will see you all in the next one.